What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carat Prospect Spotlight, where you get a chance to learn more about NFL draft hopefuls. I'm Steph Sanchez, and I'm very excited to be joined today by North Carolina offensive lineman Willie Lampkin. Willie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for the show.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Excited to have you on. Now, Willie, I do usually start these interviews with a little fun segment here, just 5 questions to get the juices flowing a little bit. So the first thing that comes to mind, you just let it out, all right?
Okay.
All right. PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm a night owl.
Favorite cheat day meal?
Probably some Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Okay. Do you have any game day rituals or superstitions?
I always run up and down the field before the game.
Okay. And if you could jersey swap with any NFL player, who would it be?
Probably Shaq Mason.
Okay, that's a good one. All right, now to the serious stuff. So, Willie, I know you started your college career at Coastal Carolina. You then transferred at UNC. Tell me why you felt it was the right time to transfer when you did, and why North Carolina was the next best step for you.
So you know how the college, it goes. One coach can be at university for 3-4 years, and he'll be at another school. So my coaches, great coaching staff at Coastal Carolina. And while I was there, I had a great time. And after 3 years that I was there, the coaches decided, it was time for them to take the next step. So they all had, left and went to another university. And so I was deciding, talking to my mom, talking to my family, just like, what should I do? What should I do? Prayed about it. And, for me, I felt the best thing for me to do was to, enter the transfer portal. And I talked to Coach Brown and a couple coaches at UNC, and they had my best interest. And for me, they had a great team. We had Drake May, Seth Gray, Tez Walker, guys like that at the university. So I was like, this might be the next step for me. I took my official visit, and it just felt like home. And I committed the same day I went. I
Oh,
committed so fast, and that was my only official visit I had entering the transfer portal. So I felt like that was home for me, and I went with my gut, and I'm here today. Here today.
yeah, that's awesome when a place feels like home that much that you can lock it in on the spot. Now,
Yeah.
was there also like the thought in your mind that, hey, like I have the opportunity to maybe go to a bigger conference, get some more eyes on me, and prove my worth even more?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, kinda. It was, some thoughts with that because I was like ACC. ACC they play against Clemson, FSU, Miami, and just being in that atmosphere against that competition, that's is gonna if you play good, you're gonna be seen. So that's what the goal was.
Yeah, and it seemed like you were most definitely ready for that challenge. Was there a specific year in your college career where you felt like, the game started to slow down for you and things started to click a little bit differently?
I would say that my first year, I was a true freshman at Coastal, so I was thrown into the fire right away. It wasn't as tough because there was some regulations with the fans and stuff. So my first game I ever played, it was at Kansas at probably like 7:30, and the stadium was empty. So like I got the full gist, but it's nothing like having that full crowd atmosphere. So I say I got a little lucky. I got
Yeah,
a little
you
lucky.
got you got to warm up to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the most impressive things about you is that you have a lot of games under your belt, right? And a lot of starts. And I think you've been able to kind of grow through that process as well. Your final year at UNC, first team all ACC, recipient of the Jacobs Blocking Trophy. Like how did it feel to like be able to build your game to that point where you're getting these awards and you're getting recognized for your talents?
Hard work definitely pays off. This past off season, I decided, I have to work smarter. You can work hard as you want to, but if you're not trying to work smart, and you're not trying to, elevate your game, and reach those heights and put the effort in, it's never going to pay off for you. So I felt like I did that, and I finally got some recognition as I should have been getting. But hard work pays off, and that's one thing that I would say that has happened and has helped me out. Hard work paying off.
To be a first round pick in the draft. Saw a lot of success running behind you guys that North Carolina line, and not to take anything away from him because he's great in his own right, but I'm sure you got to feel a little gratified too, knowing that you helped the top running back in the draft turn in the numbers that he had. Like it must speak to the work that you and all the other guys on that line put together to sort of make that happen, right?
Yeah, it feels good to know that Amari Hampton is going to go first round. I'll definitely say we're a combo.
Mm-hmm.
Us and him are a combo. Me and him are a combo. The O line combo. Without him, we wouldn't have had as much success as we had because he's the one that is toting the rock. We can make those holes for him, but he has to do the rest. And I'm just blessed to even have an opportunity to even block for him. Man, he's a hell of a running back. Great running back, and he had a legendary career at UNC.
Yeah, he most definitely did. Now, I know with that, a lot of preparation and hard work, as we were mentioning, goes into the process of what we see on the field on game day. So, walk me through your film study process. What that is like, and what are some things you look for in opponents?
So for me, I definitely want to, see the entire defense. So I want to see who's their best player, and if their best player is a defensive lineman, I'm definitely going to be studying him even more. So I like to, look at their alignment, their technique, and I like to, see how strong they are at the point of contact, and really just, seeing, the what they do, like what's their routine, see what's their blitz packages, what's their front, stuff like that.
Okay, and how about when you study yourself and your self scouting? What are some things that you're watching in your own game that you're like, oh, I can fix this, or oh, that was good. Like, what are some things you key in on?
I definitely key in on my stance, how fast I'm getting off the ball. I would say, just that effort, my technique on, the little things like say if I'm base driving a guy, base reaching a guy, how's my first step? Did I get my hips through the contact? Did I get my hips through on the block? I would just say, did I get to the second level and did I strain through, stuff like that.
Okay. Now, when I watch you, I see the strength that you play with. You have incredible balance. You're able to, maintain your base even when you have your back bent and your arms extended. And personally, I see how, being shorter actually helps you at times because, hey, they say low man wins and you're always low, all 5'10", 280 pounds of you. But what else I see are those pancakes. And I know you played some wrestling in high school. In
Yeah.
fact, like, man, you weren't just any wrestler. Like you were one of the top ones in the country in high school, won the 2A state championship after a perfect 27-0 season.
Yeah.
So how is that wrestling skill set and wrestling dominance, I should say, how has that helped you make the most of your size playing football?
I would definitely say like wrestling, like I always tell this story all the time. When I was a junior in high school, I had so I took a summer off to work and stuff like that. So I came into the season, I was a little big headed. So I was big headed and I thought I was that dude at first. And then so I go to wrestle, I think it was like Winter Springs, something like that in Florida. So my first match, I get whooped. I get put in a cradle. I'm like, man, this never happens to me. So I got beat really bad, and then I won, and then I got beat, and I got beat again. So I think I placed like sixth, and then like ever since then, I always wanted to work hard, and well, I can't cheat the game. Like so, ever since I lost that match, I always told myself that I would always give myself a fair chance. So ever since then, I worked harder than everybody in the room. I did the extra work. I would run, probably 2 miles every other day in high school. So I would definitely say wrestling has, given me that encouragement to, always keep going and keep pushing and, always giving the game my, best effort. And I would definitely say leverage has helped with having that leverage,
Yeah.
um, having a, having a technicality, being technically sound, and also just having that dog mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like you didn't like losing, right? Like you definitely didn't like losing. It translated into your determination. But you talk about leverage and all the wrestling skill sets that have translated to your game. But another strong part of your game is your versatility, right? Like you play left guard, you play right guard, you've played some center. I'm curious about you playing center a little bit more. I know you did that pretty much exclusively at the Senior Bowl. At UNC, what were your responsibilities as a center? Because I know sometimes it varies by team. So what were you specifically asked to do?
At UNC, I only played center one game, so I really didn't really have that responsibility. But what the center always does, he calls the mic ID, gets the line, tells everybody what to do. Um, you know, he's like the quarterback for the offensive lineman. So he's getting everybody in the right position, right spot, and stuff like that. And I would say, you know, calling the fronts out, basically just being the quarterback of the offensive line.
Yeah, and that's a big responsibility that
Yeah.
pretty much not just anyone can do. So like, since that's something that you've kind of taken more snaps of since the Senior Bowl, like
Mm.
how is that transition going for you? Like what are some things you're working on there?
Oh yeah, working on my snap. You gotta snap the ball. If you don't have that snap right, the play's dead. So working on my snapping. Working on staying low. Working on just being explosive, getting off the ball, having a good snap. Being able to communicate with others. Also, working on my base drive, my base reach. And working on my having a good you know drive and catch step. Just being strong, having a good core.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as when you're on pulling blocks, when you're at guard, like what's your mindset on those? I love asking offensive linemen this
Yeah.
question, by the way, because like I really get a sense of like what kind of player they are. So like, what's your mindset on a pulling block?
Run through his chest, run through his chest. That's all I'm thinking about. Running through his chest.
I
This
love it.
try to connect, hit him, get your hands on, clamp up, and just run. That's all I'm thinking about.
I love it. Got to be physical. And so as far as run schemes go, like what type of scheme do you think fits your skill set the best?
I feel like I can play in any scheme. I could block inside zone, split zone, wide zone, outside zone, and I could pass protect. So for me, it's all about just allowing me to get on the field. All I need is opportunity, and I feel like I can make it the best that I can. All I need is opportunity. Any scheme, any team.
Again, showing that versatility, and that's a big strength of yours for sure. Now, Willie, you were a late call up to the Senior Bowl. Like, tell me how it felt to get that invite.
It was crazy. I was like Jim Nagy called my phone. I'm like, hello, like, like, I'm like, who's this? Because I was trying to do some treatment before because I just finished working out, and I was trying to like get a massage my ankle, and I kept just getting these phone calls. I'm just like, man, who is this? He's like, hey, Jim Nagy, with the Reese Senior Bowl, would you be interested in coming? I was like, Jim Nagy, yeah, sure, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, say
Yeah.
less.
So I had get all my information sent and stuff like that, and then that Sunday, the next day, I was on a flight to Mobile, Alabama. So it was a crazy just hearing that phone call. Just finally being accepted into the Reese Senior Bowl. It was an honor. It was an honor.
Yeah, and I know you probably feel pretty good about how you did that week. Obviously, it was a great opportunity for you to cut your teeth against a lot of the top talent entering the draft. Was there any player or like any rep that sticks out as having challenged you?
Walter Nolan, he was super quick. He was probably, I would say he's one of the better defensive linemen that I faced, against in my career. He has all the tools, he has the size, and he's super quick.
Well, I mean, he's slated to probably be a first round pick as well, and I saw you had some wins against him too. So I think it was good to get that battle, and I'm sure it feels good to be able to win some of those reps against a guy that good as well. Now there was one on one rep that I saw you take, and I got to play it here because this one is just so I believe this is TJ Sanders, right? So he tries to go for a chop, then the swipe, and you match his energy, right? Like he's on the floor. I swear, like he bounced off the floor with the force that you brought him down with, and you hit him with that iconic Allen Iverson step over. Was that on purpose, or did it just sort of just happen that way?
It just happened that way, honestly. Like, it's just instinct. I just really like, I wouldn't say I like blacked out, but I don't know. It's just my body doing whatever he wanted to do.
Man, I mean that right there was like the highlight of your week, I'm sure.
It was
Uh,
crazy.
but man, I mean the trenches were stacked at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, one of the deepest interior defensive line classes in a while. And one of my observations, like watching both teams practice that week, was that the national team had the better pass rushers, and I felt like the American team had the better interior defensive linemen. So you got to go up against them, throughout the week in practice. Did you kind of feel that difference though when you played the game?
Um, no, no, not really, no, because they were really good, like defensive linemen. Like I'm going against Walter Nolan, Tim, um, who else? Dion Walker, Cam Jordan. He's huge. So I'm really already I'm getting the handful. So already, so when it came to the game, it was really nothing.
Yeah, I mean that week of practice definitely prepared you for that
Definitely.
game, and honestly, like I feel like after your Senior Bowl performance, like you're a bit of a combine snub. Like, do you feel the same at all? Like, and did you use any of that motivation to perform better at your pro day?
Yeah, I did feel like I was a combine snub. Definitely. Honestly, I thought I would have got the combine invite because I went to the recent Senior Bowl,
Okay.
but everything happens for a reason. I'm definitely still using that motivation. Regardless of me not getting the invite. I know I will have a chip on my shoulder regardless because of my size. That's one thing that I've always been downplayed about. Not being big enough, not having long enough arms, not being 3 inches taller. So I always have a chip on my shoulder because people always doubt me, saying that I'm not enough. So I definitely take heed to that, and I definitely bring it all when it's time to bring it all.
Yeah. So, how pleased were you with your pro day performance?
Uh, you know, I wasn't. It was okay. Like I'm better on the field, playing football rather than testing. So, it is what it is. I can't have it back. That day's over. I'm just focused on, getting to camp. You know, uh, I'm just kind of excited to, see what my future holds. I'm not sure where I'll be going, playing football wise, but if I get the opportunity, in camp or I can sign somewhere or do whatever I need to do, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you've gotten the chance to meet with a lot of teams, via the Senior Bowl or your pro day throughout this process. So, what's the feedback that you're hearing from teams so far in terms of what they like about you, what they want to see more of?
Really just, keep, doing what I'm doing, keep proving people wrong. Some people want to see me at fullbacks. That's crazy to say. Fullback, center, special teams. I know that's a crazy combo, but a lot of teams want me to play fullback.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you about that because like I feel like that's the low hanging fruit, right? When people discuss your position at the next level, like given your size, put them at fullback, put them at fullback. So like of the teams that are showing interest in you or that you've spoken with, like how many are like percentage wise, like how many are really asking you about playing fullback or like another position?
When I talked to one team, he was like, "You just want to play fullback? Would you be okay with that?" Like, no line, just all fullback. I'm okay with that. As long as I get an opportunity to play football. I'm down to do it. I feel like fullback, could definitely be a spot that I could, thrive at.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like you could be like that sixth offensive lineman, right? The
Yeah.
sixth man on that line, and you would still be doing what you do best. But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like it gets you in the building, right? Like if a team wanted you as a fullback, you get your shot, your opportunity, and who knows what could happen after that. Maybe you get some reps at offensive line, and
Yeah.
they like you there too. I mean, I feel like the harsh reality is that some teams who have size thresholds might have you off their board, just like any other player. Like you're not going to be a fit for everyone, right? But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, like I think your size makes you even more intriguing. Like the fact that you had so much success in spite of your size, like it piques my interest. I'm fascinated by you as a player. So like, have you gotten the sense that some teams see and appreciate you in that same way?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. A couple of teams, they want me to play O line, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think obviously you've got the talent and natural ability to be a true outlier at the next level, and I'm sure you feel the same. So if a team asked you right now, like why you think you'll be an outlier in the NFL, what would you tell them?
I would definitely say, I'm going to bring that tenacity, and I want to set that. I want to set the tone, of the entire group. I want to set the tone. I want to get things started.
It felt pretty good to make it at the next level and be like the seen as the only guy who has made it and had success at that size, right? Like, wouldn't that be pretty cool?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like I feel like I'm like very rare. When it comes to
Sure.
any O lineman, like you've never heard of any O lineman, 5'10", 285 with 32-inch arms. That's like kind of weird body type. But I'm just blessed to have opportunity to even play football. Because when I was at Coastal Carolina, my center Sam Thompson, he was 5'8", 300 pounds, and they used to call us the Mighty Mites. So just being able to continue to play football, it's just a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know right now you're probably back to football training. So
Yeah.
what's that looking like for you right now? Like, are you working with an offensive line coach? What is your day to day?
Right now I'm just training, lifting and just running. Um, where I train in Arizona, I haven't been out there in a while, but I'm still training offensive line. Still doing my regular skill stuff, and I've been working some special teams conditioning. Working some fullback drills and stuff like that. So, just being ready for anything that gets thrown my way.
Yeah, I mean that's good to hear. Like you're keeping an open mind to all of that, and so you're getting ready for it just in case. I mean, you never know. All right, so what's next for you in terms of like visits, private workouts, any meetings that you have lined up?
I had a visit at the LA Chargers about I think last week. I took a visit out there. It was amazing. Great staff, great environment, great facilities, great place to be.
And I can see Jim Harbaugh really, really loving a guy like you, man. I mean, us 49er fans know a thing or two about Jim, and he'd love you. I
Yeah.
just know that for sure. And obviously, me covering the 49ers, like I do track who the 49ers have met with and whatnot. And, currently you're not on that list. Like there haven't been any reports connecting you to the 49ers at all. Like, have you gotten the chance to speak with them throughout this pre-draft process at all?
Only at the Senior Bowl. I had a requested interview with them. It went well. But other than that, I haven't talked to them at all.
Okay, well, selfishly, I'm hoping they take that chance on you, but obviously, anywhere you go, I'll be rooting for you. And the draft is in 9 days. Are there any plans for the draft, or are those still being worked out?
Nah, no plans for the draft. Laura's willing I get drafted. Laura's willing I get drafted.
Okay, and are there any like nerves building around that at all as it gets closer? Like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I just don't know where I'm gonna go. It's like maybe going sixth, seventh. Could go
Mhm.
earlier than that. Could be a free agent, but I don't know. Just keeping my head up high and just working.
Yeah, for sure. So like how are you staying grounded like throughout this process? Like how are you finding like that relaxation time and not getting too deep in your nerves?
For me, I just control what I can control. I'm never stressing about nothing in my life, so I just let it play out. Just praying to God. Being thankful for every opportunity that I get. Just always just being positive. Trying to be positive regardless of my life, what's going on in my life. Just trying to be positive, and that's what I do. Not stress and just stay positive.
Well, that's a great way to live. So yeah, I'm sure that's paying off for you. And Willie, I've really enjoyed this interview. I always end my interviews with this question: what is the team? What is the fan base getting both on and off the field with Willie Lampkin?
Well, what an organization will get is they will get a great man. I want to win, and I want to set the tone in the offensive line room, and I want to be the best, and I want people around me to be the best, and I want to win for our organization.
I love it. I love it. And I know a team's going to love it too, Willie. Again, appreciate your time so much. And like I said, hope the 49ers take a chance on you, but I'll be rooting for you wherever you go, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate everyone that tuned in. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. There will be plenty more prospect spotlight interviews just like this one. But for now, folks, have a good rest of your Monday. Peace.